This week on Tomboy T-Rod.
Yes, we head off to Comic-Con where we celebrate all things geeky.
Until we run into our nutty nemesis, Nutty and Tech, for the Nutty Bites podcast.
That's right. Find out who will survive a big crunch or be crushed into bits on a very nutty episode. According to my brochure, there's plenty stuff going on at 2 p.m. Hey, Raven, there's a practical defense against ancient dark magic presentation at Hall H, a guide to medieval sorcery seminar at Hall G, and an advanced sword fighting technique workshop next door. Man, decisions.
Yas, I'm so bored of this ancient magic stuff. Come on, it's time to go to the future. I'm so going to attend the next generation levitation resource workshop. Walking is so overrated, man.
Huh?
Who wants to walk when you can levitate?
Please. Walking is what everybody does, Raven. Nobody levitates here. I mean, like, what are you going to levitate on? You know, on this wheelless skateboard that you have been carrying all day? Ha ha ha.
Hover is my middle name, yo.
Ugh, yeah, just my luck to end up with a deluded co-host for this show. Tomboy T-Rod, which is Asia's biggest and only all-female English comedy chat podcast. Where have you guys been?
Oh, hello! Watch your words, man. And we are a no-host-barred fortnightly podcast with a whole lot of geek, drama, and humor thrown into every episode.
Yeah, you know what's really surprising, Raven? People are still listening to us. Wait, is that the infamous Clockwork Doctor I see ahead of him? Do you remember him?
C-Tech, aka Real Life Weapons Technician, aka Head Security of the Nutty Bites Peanut Factory that we broke into during a previous episode.
Yes, and he was the one who didn't show up for that last episode, remember? Yeah. Which means Nutty must be very nearby as well.
Oh no! They're not gonna forgive us for blowing up their factory with a hand grenade.
Shh! Don't tell them anything, okay? It's no thanks to you, Raven. I mean, who's dumb enough to mix up a smoke bomb with a hand grenade?
Oi, you're the one who got both of us into trouble. Into this stupid mess with your what? Peanut butter craving, huh? Look, over there! The teleporting station! Sponsored by the Starfleet Academy. We can leave here right now! Come on, let's go!
No way!
What?
Come on, Raven. I paid through the nose to buy the passes for this improbable steampunk, retro sci-fi, and medieval fantasy convention. You want to compare exclusive? San Diego has nothing on this convention. I heard some people have to trade their firstborns to get in here, dude.
Oh really? So what should we do now, smutty pants?
Hey, you two, over there!
Oh no, too late. He saw us.
Run, pussies! We need to get out of here, run!
What? Again? Why are we always running? Excuse me, coming through!
Come here! That's our truth, stupid people! Ah!
Ow! I've been hit, Raven! It's those freaking peanuts again! Jeez! Ow!
Ah! Help me! Stop this! Ah!
Coming through! Get out of our way!
Aha!
Crap!
Gotcha. Wonder Twins. Think you can sneak away from me?
Oh, crap! Hey guys, so how's the peanut butter business doing these days, huh? Are things going back to normal?
Oh, shut up, you McFly wannabe.
Hey, I'm with you, Nutty.
Oi, what's this? You're supposed to support me!
Nutty, Tech, we are really sorry about the factory, but we'll make it up to you. Just untie me and we can do a pinky swear together. Forget Raven. Forget her.
Move it, you two. Come on.
Ouch. Hey, stop stop poking me with your M16 peanut rifle. Jeez.
Ugh, why are you taking us too? Tired working on these peanuts. Ugh.
The security room, where you will be locked up until the law enforcement arrive.
Yeah, you're not getting away this time.
Come on, you gotta at least let me attend the Grand Wizard gathering. You know, I paid so much for this Gandalf cosplay and all. Man.
Chill, Persis, chill. Okay, guys, this is so not working out. Let's try something else. How about we start all over again, you know? Let's be friends.
Oh, so you think I'm gullible? That I'm just going to stand here and say, "Hi, I'm Nukejas, but people call me Nutty. And along with Tech over here, we run the Nutty Bites podcast. We're also the owners of a peanut butter factory." I'm not going to stand here and tell you that I'm an artist by day and a blogger and podcaster by night. And I'm also the chief and editor and director of Nimlast.org and Nimlast Studios, just so we can start all over and I can forget the havoc you have reached.
Hey, you know what? Here's a bottle of peanut butter. Here you go. Does that work?
Hey, give me that. Okay, and I certainly won't tell you that, hi, I'm Tech, and I used to own a very profitable peanut butter factory, but I've been wasting all of my money stopping you two. I'm also the founder of the Dead Tree Society. I'm a steampunk costumer and plague doctor. I love sci-fi, and I fix guns for a living. I write about physics and math and anything that catches my interest, but we're not going to do that because I have to get back to work at my factory.
Hi, I'm Nukejas, the host of Nutty Bites.
And hi, I'm Tech, Nutty's regular guest.
Or antagonist. Our podcast is like a call-in show where geeks get to debate topics about speculative fiction.
We don't really debate.
Sure we do. We debate topics such as lame superpowers, the best villains, and our favorite apocalypses.
We more like rant, rave, and then have massive nerd rages.
People call in from all over the world, sometimes minor celebrities, and we've even had some supervillains show up.
Do you ever notice that you never have any superheroes or good guys?
I'm a good guy.
Compared to what?
Antagonist, not really a guest. Nutty Bites, Nimlast.org.
Raven, play nice, okay? He knows about guns. Okay, cool. So, where can we find you both on social media?
Yeah.
Look, everybody knows they can find me on Twitter at just going to @Nukejas, and that they can find all that information at Nimlast.org. They can find my Facebook, Google+, Tumblr, all that nonsense. Sing with Tech over there. We're not going to sit here and tell you about how you can go to @TheClockDoc with the underscores. That's just... Why would we do that? Do you think we're some bad supervillains who are going to tell you our evil plan?
And why would we tell you that when we wrote it in 40-foot high letters on the side of the peanut butter factory? I mean, it's right there. Hello, you saw it when you snuck in.
Sit down, you two.
Okay. Don't have to point the rifle at me again. I got the message.
Yeah, guys, and easy on the ropes. This is not 50 Shades of Grey. You're kind of cutting off my blood circulation.
Very, very funny. But you think that's bad. Ha-ha! I've infused those ropes with peanut butter. Ma-ha-ha-ha!
Oh, so sticky. Ew. Ugh. Yikes.
Now you'll be covered in ants.
Oh no! That's my worst nightmare, not in this costume! And you know what? I don't like the look of those peanut assault weapons either. Raven, these guys are up to no good. How are we going to escape?
Yeah, I don't want to be tied up and delivered to authorities like a prize trophy from a bounty hunter. We need to get out of here.
Yeah, that's what I just asked you.
Persis, that Gandalf stuff of yours.
Yes, I know.
What power does it possess?
Well, you know, the seller said I could use it to kind of stun someone.
Great. I think I may have a plan.
What are you two talking about now?
Nothing much.
Nothing.
Since the San Diego Comic-Con is coming up from 9th to 12th July, we're kind of discussing Comic-Cons and cosplay in general.
Yeah, just harmless geeky stuff. Very harmless. Nothing to do with peanuts.
Check their knots, Tech, and make sure they're really tight.
Oh, yep, you got it. Okay.
Ow!
Hey,
Ow!
rule number 1, if you can't tie knots, tie lots. So let's tie lots.
Oh boy, we're getting a bunch of very excitable, nutty people here. I think we better get to the news highlights.
What would you do if you have $14.5 million to launder away? If you're the eccentric FIFA whistleblower Chuck Blazer, You could rent a 6,000 per month apartment to house your misbehaving kitties in the Tron Plaza. Or, if your ego is large enough like Seth Blatter, you can make a movie about yourself. Do you think that FIFA honcho actually bribed Team Roth with envelope stuffed with cash to star in the flop that is United Passions?
But you know, the slightest error and you're out.
I don't know where the money's gone. I mean, I have my suspicions.
You've been betrayed. You could go to prison.
The whole machine's going to blow up, and me with it. Everything I've done up until this point has been for the good of football.
Gentlemen, remember, you're making history.
I don't know. I mean, like recently, FIFA has come under fire, right? For a lot of things. I mean, including the FIFA head, and also about all the money that's been actually blown into stadiums around the world. Because basically, as we all know, FIFA is basically an organization that is not exactly entirely 100% clean. So basically, you know, I don't know. I just feel that, you know, they're taking away what FIFA really is supposed to mean. That is bringing the joy of football into, you know, to everyone. But I don't know. This feels like, I don't know, another ego trip for me. On the topic on movies, we are sad to hear the passing away of screen legend and a master of macabre, Christopher Lee, whose career spanned genres and generations. And of course, it spanned over an impressive 7 decades. Only last year, he marked his 92nd birthday by releasing a heavy metal version of the Frank Sinatra classic My Way. Yeah, it was one of 7 tracks on an album called Metal Night he recorded with an Italian band called Rhapsody of Fire.
If I'm 92 years old, I want to do exactly like what he did, release a metal album. That's the only way to celebrate a birthday,
Yeah.
And I hope they play My Way at his funeral, because he really lived it his own way. He's the ultimate badass.
Seriously, Black Sabbath and Ozzy Osbourne should have got him to be like their vocalist when they started the band in the 60s. Seriously, because he's got a voice that's just made for heavy metal. It's like, God, ba, 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 ba,
And the best of all, it's clear. I can actually hear what he's saying.
I know. Yeah, I can't wait to play his version of Jingle Bells at the end of this year. Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Yeah, control yourself, Raven.
Anyway, the San Diego Comic Con is just around the corner. And one of the highlights is the Supergirl preview on 8th of July. But the pilot has actually been released on the torrent site 6 months before the premiere date.
Yeah, I know. What the hell is going on with that, right?
And what makes it so interesting is that not just it is in high resolution, it has reportedly no watermarks or any like warnings that may distinguish it as an advanced screening copy. So this led some to speculate that the supposed leak is actually a marketing ploy by the CBS to generate positive buzz. So what do you think, Persis?
I think this is scary. It could be like the video that they released on The Ring. So after you watch it, 7 days later, you might end up dead. Because, I mean, you know, seriously, anything that's being downloaded nowadays, you got to really be careful. Because I think a couple of weeks ago or months ago, the producers of Dallas Buyers Club actually traced some downloaders from Singapore. And they were actually given a warning about downloading the movies. I don't know. Is this a trap? Okay, DC Comics, Warner Brothers, is this a trap or is this, you know, a deliberate leak? Because, you know, I know Apple has done this successfully, but come on, let's be original.
There were times I'm sure you knew when I bit off more than I could chew. But through it all, when there was doubt, I ate it up and spit it out. I faced it all
folks, since we have a lot of geek fans here, I'm sure everybody knows that the San Diego Comic Con is held every year. It's the pinnacle of comic conventions. The 4-day celebration is actually so packed with panels, previews, and special events. Even The Flash and Quicksilver couldn't attend them all.
Yeah, one of the things I actually look forward to is the cosplay. And there's no cosplay than a Comic-Con cosplay. Tech, could you share with us how you come up with your character?
I came up with the idea during our Nutty and I's honeymoon, which we took. We toured through Italy for 3 weeks. And when we were in Venice, we saw these beautiful carnival masks, and one of them was the mask of the plague doctor, Il Medico della Peste in Italian. So these were doctors during the plague years who thought that the mask and herbs stuffed inside would protect them from the disease, because these guys had no concept that germs caused these diseases. They thought it was caused by evil spirits. So they thought that dressing up really scary and red lenses and magic herbs would protect them. It didn't. And they actually caused more plague than they cured, but they looked really, really scary. So when a couple of years after our honeymoon, I had this idea of wanting to do something with a plague doctor. We started, getting into steampunk and researching that, and I figured, well, scary Victorian world might have scary steampunk diseases, so why not make a steampunk plague doctor? And I started jamming things together and finding goggles, and then the Clockwork Doctor sort of appeared, and that's been my character for the last 7 years.
Do you wanna tell them how you made the mask, because that I think is
tell
really
us how
interesting.
it all came about.
The mask itself is it's a plastic hockey mask made to look like Jason from the Friday the 13th movies, which we bought at a joke shop for a couple of dollars. And then there's a styrofoam florist cone, the type that you use to make to arrange fake flowers. So we put that on the front, cut it and bent it, glued it together, and then that's covered in expanding foam to fill in the hollows. That's covered in paper mache, that's covered in plaster, and then that's painted in 3 or 4 layers to make the bronze under the white. Goggles are hot glued over the top, and then the hose is a combination of brass fittings, braided toilet hose, airline fittings, going into an automotive air filter. At the bottom, it's all slung off my body using 3 old rifle slings that I found in my basement. And everything else is actually clothes out of my closet.
Wow.
With a couple extra little gubbins and bits and some old work gloves and then a hat with a clock in it, and I turned into the Clockwork Doctor.
And you sewed the cravat.
Yeah, and I made the cravat myself because I couldn't find one that I liked. So I went to the store, took out my sewing machine, and made myself a cravat.
Is there an oxygen tank in there somewhere?
No, actually,
There's
the
so
mask.
many layers of material. Can
Yeah,
you breathe?
and with the mouth holes closed off on the
Yeah.
hockey mask, the mask tends to fog up rather badly. The first year I couldn't see out of the costume because there was no venting, so the lenses fogged immediately. What I did is I replaced the left lens with a it's the drain plug out of a sink. So
It's like a strainer.
and it's a strainer that goes in the bottom of the sink, and it fit just perfectly into the eye cup. But that's just a bunch. I painted it bronze so it matches the lens, and it's just a bunch of holes so it allows air to vent, and my lenses don't fog anymore.
Wow.
You can see a little bit better.
Yeah, I can see not too bad. I just can't see too good out of my left eye, so I just kind of have to.
Yeah, as T. Morris said, he is a method costumer because a lot of costumers, we try to make things light because a lot of conventions are in the summertime and you get really hot.
That's
but
right.
he's got on dress slacks, a dress shirt, a vest, a denim long reverend coat with all sorts of gubbins and extra layers on top, the magazine sling, a hood so you don't see his neck or head, the mask, a wool top hat that has no breathability, and a clock on it.
Yeah, no, I don't wear it for too long. It does get stuffy, and I'll say after 5 or 6 years of wearing the thing, it is starting to get a little ragged.
Okay.
It's starting to fray and split and crack in some places, and the mask is. I had to hockey tape a couple of things together to get the thing to work for this last year. I think it might be retired very soon. The problem is every other idea I've got is hotter. I want to do a The next one I want to do is a British plague soldier. So just like the plague doctor, but with the same type of beak, but done with a World War I style British uniform.
Wow.
The problem is those are all wool.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it's going to be totally hot in the summertime with the gloves and the staff and the sling belts. Wow, that's a lot of things going on in there.
How long did it take for you to make a costume? It sounds like a lot of work.
It does.
I made that mask I made most of the mask in over a weekend. I assembled the whole costume in about 2 weeks.
It was over a month, I think.
Yeah,
But
well,
not,
to find little bits to go to the store and find the right shoes and the right tie, but overall it took about 2 weeks to put the whole thing together. The most of the mask was made over a weekend.
Maddie, are you like his official, since you're like a tag team, right? Since he can't see, are you the official, so-called guide for him, like bringing him around the conventions and stuff?
The first convention he wore it for, we made it for HalCon. It was the first time HalCon had come back after 20 years. And he put it all together, and we're going through this old hotel, everything's wood, narrow staircases, that sort of thing. And he's having a lot of difficulty seeing because he's only got the red lenses and they keep fogging up.
Yeah.
And the con had sold way past fire capacity. So it was just jam-packed. So the first night we're walking around and I'm trying to guide him, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, some blonde woman comes up, grabs him and starts shaking him, going, oh my God, this is the best costume I have seen. Oh my God, do you ever know how effing awesome this is? And it took me a second to realize who she was.
Yeah, I was going down the stairs. I was staring very intently at my feet to make sure I didn't fall.
Yeah.
And I hear, oh my God, that's awesome. It's like, there is a woman grabbing me. There is a woman shaking me. And I look up and it's like, she's kind of pretty. She kind of looks like Tasha Yar from Star Trek. It is Tasha Yar from Star Trek.
It was Denise Crosby. Yeah, she was one of the two media guests that year. And to have Tasha, Denise Crosby, who spends her life at conventions, go that crazy for a costume, we knew we had a winner.
So what about you, Nutty? I saw some of the pictures that, of characters that you've taken on. Cosima from Orphan Black is one of them. And I know you spoke to us about that. Like you would dress up as one of the different Orphan Black characters. But can you explain to us, like, who's this character in the doctor's, coat and a dinosaur with goggles?
Oh, yes. That was Halloween one year. That was me cosplaying as Dr. Horrible from Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
And the dragon is my dragon Rory. You can find him on Twitter at Rory Says Rar, R-W-A-R, or Facebook.com/Rory Says Rar. And he was dressed up as Captain Hammer.
Okay.
He had Captain Hammer's shirt on and everything. And so that was a costume I put together in basically going to stores and grabbing things after work a couple of days that week, and then putting it all together the night before. Didn't know I was going to be in town for Halloween, and suddenly had, I was working, and so I was grabbing all of these supplies, put the costume together because I had gotten invited to a party, and so I was like, okay, here we go. And yeah, it was Dr. Horrible. It was pretty relevant at the time, although I will say that most of the people at the party I went to didn't know who it was, so there was that.
So how do you, you guys have been through so many Comic Cons, what is your, survival guide? Do you have, tips to share with listeners who are going to their first Comic Con?
Yeah, how will you plan your trips? How do you make your costumes? How do you know what activities to attend? How do you get everything
sorted out?
It's really funny that you say this because we just released a Nutty Bites episode as our con survival guide just before going to Balticon. So if you go to nimlast.org and look up the stream there, you'll see the last episode is our con survival guide. But I think we can do an abridged version.
Yeah, lightning round.
Lightning round. So the big important things to remember is to dress for the weather. So understand that your walking around costume is going to need... if you're going to Comic-Con in San Diego, if you're going to Dragon Con in Atlanta, Georgia, or you're going to any place hot, you don't want to wear a plague doctor suit all day because you're going to get really hot.
You
so
might get the plague wearing the costume.
that there needs to be a difference between like masquerade costumes and walk around costumes. So the ones that you can wear on stage, you can do like the Assault on Titan 0G harness with the big box scabbards, and that's going to look awesome on stage when you're presenting and going in front of the judges and scoring. But those giant boxes hanging off your hips might not be the best thing for walking around a convention with 65,000 of your closest friends. So try to gear your costumes for walking around, comfort, heat, and then you want to go completely nuts with a giant 7-foot rubber Godzilla suit, go ahead and wear that on stage.
And the other tip is comfortable footwear. You are going to be standing
all day, right?
forever. Even when going on stage, you're going to be standing forever online. You're going to be standing forever waiting online to get into panels. You're going to be standing just hanging out. You're going to be walking. You know, those really cool platform boots with the stiletto heel look exactly like the character in the comic book, but you're not a comic book character and you don't have superpowers.
So what's your golden rule?
No, the golden rule of 5-2-1. This is the most important thing for any con goer, whether you're dressing up in costume or not, is you need 5 hours of sleep, 2 real meals a day, and 1 shower every day. And you laugh. But it's very important.
And it's one of those things that, you know, you listen to that and goes, that seems really common sense. Why are they telling us this? Because for some reason, crazy con goers seem to forget this. Especially that last part about the 1 shower a day.
Yeah.
It's you, and especially at a thing like Comic-Con. So it's you and 65,000 of your closest friends jammed into 4 hotels, all trying to look at Joss Whedon when he announces his new project. You are going to be like tummy to butt with 65,000 of your closest friends. You don't want to be the one stinky guy or girl. So go take a shower, please.
So I would imagine that, you know, keeping yourself hydrated would be another golden rule, right? In the summer.
Oh, yes.
Oh, absolutely.
You want to hit the water. You want to hit the water good. Even if the con you're going to gives out water, which many of them do, you want to bring something like a refillable water bottle that you can just pour more water into so that you've always got it with you. You keep it in your bag. You keep it on your costume. Some of them have like little carabiner hooks. You can hook them onto your belt or whatever. Those are golden. You really need to make sure that you have those. And then the next tip is you're not going to be able to do everything you want to do.
What about safety? When you're like, you know, slammed in with 65,000 other people, is safety, you know, safety is something that's probably very important as well, right? Like make sure your belongings are close to you, you know, because there'll be a lot of people rubbing against you, grabbing you.
So my belongings are always in a very safe place. I keep them in my chest. So nobody can grab anything that's important, because if they try grabbing there, they're going to be in a world of pain. Tech, where do you keep your wallet?
Well, I've got the long Reverend coat that sort of covers everything, so I just keep my wallet in my pants pocket where it always is, with my phone and my keys and everything else. But honestly, if I'm walking around a convention all day, I'm normally booked into the same hotel or a hotel nearby. I leave my stuff in the room.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll carry maybe my card to get back into my room, my con brochure so I know which panel I'm going to, and then water.
Yep.
And maybe a couple of dollars if I want to pass by the vendor's room and pick something up. But honestly, at Baltagon being a relatively small convention of about 1,000 people, I'll just go back to my room.
Yeah. I generally have my phone on me, my room key, $20, and maybe a credit card if I need it. But I really don't carry that much. And then I've got my camera. That's the most expensive thing.
But at these conventions, I have to say the biggest concern of people for safety is not it's not your stuff getting pickpocketed. It's your personal safety.
Yeah.
It's the gropes, the pinching, the lewd remarks. Cosplay does not equal consent. So we always talk, and I've heard this thing my whole life about, girls aren't interested in geeky things. Well, now they've been, geek girls are a thing now, and they're feeling really comfortable, and they're getting out there in bigger numbers. And guys and girls, if you want to see more geek girls at conventions, treat them like people, not like objects. Don't pinch them. Don't talk crass to them. Don't annoy them. And tell you what, if you do that and you treat them nicely, more girls will come.
Obviously, a lot of super heroines have very sexy costumes, you know? Body hugging costumes, revealing midriff costumes, you know? Lots
Yeah,
of
they do.
cleavage and stuff, right? I mean, when you're a superhero, you don't really give a shit about how you look because you know you look good. And if someone tries to be funny, you can always, you know,
Whack them
suck
away.
them.
Yeah.
Whack them up into a pulp.
One tip I have is if somebody grabs you, scream, be loud, be obnoxious, and the other people in the convention will come to your aid. If somebody pinches you on the bottom, you just say very loudly, "You may not pinch me on the bottom," or whatever they have done. And people will come to your aid right away. If you see staff, you can go to them directly. They will help you. The problem is a lot of people feel like they don't know what to do. They're so flabbergasted. What do I do? A friend of mine was going up an escalator and somebody was reaching underneath her original series uniform and she didn't know what to do.
Yeah, because she's like surprised, right? Like, I mean, you would be surprised and shocked. Like, hey, what the hell's going on, you know?
Exactly. So, one idea is, you know, if you've got a buddy, make sure you're with a buddy. If you're in a skimpy costume, whatever. But at the same time, you guys are going to split up. You're going to go to different panels. Somebody touches you, be loud. Just be loud. And you know, you could. There's many things, but you don't have to fight them off yourself. Just get loud and people will come to your aid and they will stop because they're only doing this because they think they can get away with it.
So are you guys actually, you know, excited about the Force taking over San Diego Comic-Con this year? You know, and the upcoming DC presentation. I mean, like, what are you guys looking forward to for Comic-Con this year?
Well, to tell you the truth, Comic-Con, it's really weird. It used to be a convention all about comics, and now it's a convention about the latest media.
Movies, movies
and
TV shows, right?
Yeah.
It's always interesting because new projects are released. At the same time, I try not to get myself oversaturated. I've made a rule for myself. I try to only watch one trailer for any movie coming out because otherwise I've seen half the movie before it comes out. But I'm not, I'm looking forward to Star Wars, and it's going to be hard to resist watching another trailer.
Yeah, I am looking forward to Suicide Squad coming out in 2016. DC has a mountain to climb if it wants to catch up to Marvel with this latest media blitz.
Yeah.
And especially with DC coming out with announcements saying that they don't want to be funny, when Marvel has proven that funny works.
Yes.
And is basically a printing press for money when they let Joss Whedon write the dialogue and they let him be funny, and the Avengers and Guardians of the Galaxy and all those other movies who prove that you can do a superhero movie that's quite serious with a couple of yucks thrown in and it ends up being very, very good. So I don't know how Batman vs. Superman and the Suicide Squad and all the other ones are going to be if they're not going to be funny. But I'm really looking forward to Suicide Squad because it's the first time we're going to get a real live-action Harley Quinn.
Yes.
I've been waiting since Batman the Animated Series for a live-action Harley.
Yes.
That's true.
The only thing about Batman versus Superman that I'm looking forward to is Jason Momoa as Aquaman.
Yes, correct.
Yes.
The publicity photo is just wonderful.
I haven't seen that.
I will look it up for you.
Because I remember, what was he on before? He was on Stargate, right?
Yeah,
then he was Khal Drogo.
Khal Drogo,
And let me tell you,
Yeah.
as a straight married man, I can say this with all confidence: he is hunky.
Yeah.
Really, really hunky.
I think you've been in that steampunk Plague Doctor suit too long.
No.
Yeah, he is actually, I think, one of the highlights for me as well. Otherwise, I would just give it a miss, despite the fact that I am a huge Batman fan. Because it's Zack Snyder.
That is badass.
Zack Snyder. I am not a fan of Zack Snyder, you know? That's the thing for me, you know? He doesn't have a very good track record in terms of storytelling, so I'm going in with a lot of questions.
Well, and it's not really a great story to start from.
I haven't forget Zack Snyder for Watchmen. I think what he did.
Watchmen,
He ruined that movie for me. He ruined one of my favorite graphic novels of all time.
I love The Watchmen. I loved The Watchmen, but I watched it before I read the comics. So,
okay.
But I still feel like the first, 6 7 minutes of that movie were worth the whole movie. When we watched The Watchmen, that montage in the beginning,
times they are a change.
when we saw that, I looked over to Tech and I said, if the rest of the movie sucks, this was worth my ticket price. Now, Tech has just seen Jason Momoa as Aquaman.
That is badass.
Badass, right?
Oh God, that's cool.
Yeah. And so it makes...
Certainly better than orange and green.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
I like that they can, they've played with the character. It's like what they did when the original X-Men movies came out, and they're all wearing like the black leather uniforms, and Wolverine's in the plane. He's like, I mean, really? Like leather? He's like, what would you rather wear? Yellow spandex? Which is what they wore in the comic books. So they're willing to play a little bit with the visuals that don't quite work in the real world like they work in the comic books. So I think that's a really cool sort of dark version of Aquaman. And it's Jason Momoa. I mean, like I said before, oh my God, hunky.
He is, right? The look is very much. It kind of reminds me of the Poseidon look, like the green god Poseidon look, right? And I mean, they've got it down pat, and I'm excited to see that James Wan will be directing the Aquaman film, which is, something I'm looking forward to. So, if Zack Snyder, literally kills it in a bad way for me, it's going to be goodbye Superman and Batman.
I'm just looking at the Batman versus Superman cast, and one of the things that have been making me hem and haw is Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, which is just really bothering me. But Jeremy Irons as Alfred Pennyworth is pretty exciting, as is Amy Adams as Lois Lane and Lawrence Fishburne as Perry White. I mean... Yeah, those are kind of exciting.
The one thing I will say that DC does better than Marvel is video games.
Yes,
and the Arkham series of games there are so good,
and cartoons. And their cartoons are much better.
But the fact that they got the for the first 3 anyways, or for the first 2, they got the cast of the animated TV shows to come in to do the voices. Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill and all the others to come in and do the voices. If they could do that and those characters in a movie, I'd watch it in a heartbeat. But instead we're getting Zack Snyder doing Batman versus Superman, and I could not care less. I mean, really, I'm uninterested in this movie. But the whole story of Arkham with the Joker toxin and Bane as a 700-pound luchador, not some guy in a mask and you can't understand him, and. With the spoiler alert, the end of the third game when Joker dies and Harley takes over. I want to see that movie. The whole Jared Leto Joker thing, that took a lot of flack, and there was a lot of people very angry about that. I like it. I like new ideas on how to look at the Joker, because they had they've gone the full range from completely silly when Cesar Romero did it in the 60s, all the way to the very, very serious and dark Heath Ledger version. Now we're going completely nuts insane with the ha killing joke tattoos on his arms. And you know what? I'm in. I want to see where it goes.
Yeah, and I think that Jared can do it. There's something mad about the whole thing. But, let's see. Mark Hamill is the one who's got it down pat. So let's see whether he can bring that to the character as well. Because
no one can do the laugh better than Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he's so good.
Yes.
And that's I think that's a really important part of the Joker. This was actually one of the first episodes in Nutty Bites that we recorded, was who was the best Joker, and we I decided that it was I argued that it was Mark Hamill, because the laugh is such an important, and the voice is such an important part to the Joker. You have to nail that.
Yes.
If you can't do that, then you're not the Joker.
And the different intonations, he can go like really low, and then he can go like really high,
Oh, exactly.
Right? Yeah. So, it was fun to see him in the Flash as a trickster. So it's just another extension of the Joker. And I think, it's so amazing to see how Mark Hamill goes from Star Wars Jedi to crazy, nutty villain, right? And... that just shows his range. So yeah, Interesting.
Well, this is what happened after Star Wars, right? Luke Skywalker went nuts and started
yeah.
trolling Batman. Yeah, he moved to Gotham, lost his astromech droid, couldn't find his lightsaber, and started trolling Batman for a living.
So wait, is Harley R2?
Yeah, Harley's the R2 unit. That'd be funny. Oh, Mr. J, beep boop.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble. It's a total of 5 rounds for our infamous Tomboy Tirade Rapid Fire. In the hot seat today is Nutty and Tech from the Nutty Bikes podcast.
If you both were to acquire superhero powers at the same time, what kind of superhero power couple will you both be?
Ooh, these got to be complementary powers.
Yes. You can be Joker, I'll be Harley.
Ooh, I like that. But those don't have superpowers.
No superpowers. Yeah. I just want a big hammer.
Okay, how about I'm Poison Ivy and you're Harley? So I've got the superpowers of the, no poisons.
Right, and I've got really cool
pet.
I've got really cool pet hyenas and a hammer. Okay,
That
I'm
works.
good. All right,
Excellent.
that's good.
There we go.
Next question.
What is the craziest thing that ever happened to you at Comic-Con?
Oh, I know the one for you.
I got beat up by Tasha Yar, the security officer from
not
Star Trek:
even
The Next
that.
Generation.
What about the girl that dropped to her knees in front of you and said you were the dark?
the
Black Death?
the little girl who dropped to her knees and worshipped me as the angel of death.
What? She was about 14 years old. Oh yeah.
That got awkward and inappropriate, and I told her to stand up. But for a couple of seconds there, I was the angel of death at Balticon. Yes, we'll take that.
Wow.
I think one of my favorites was I had impressed somebody on a panel so much. She was in the audience that afterwards she was kind of following me around and having trouble saying hello to me.
Well, she was so nervous to talk to you, the poor thing.
We're good friends now.
Okay, sounds very interesting. So that means that you have cult potential.
Oh yeah, definite cult potential. That's what NIMLAS stands for.
That's right. Will you rather take your chances from being shot by 40,000 peanuts all at once, or stuck in a peanut butter ocean?
Oh, peanut butter ocean. Yum.
Oh yeah, you'll float on peanut butter, no problem.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. 40,000 peanuts at the same time, my mouth doesn't open that far. That'll just pinch.
And I'm thinking there's not going to be any Aquaman in that peanut butter ocean either.
Peanut Butter Man, save us.
Yes. It's like Jason Momoa, except if he survived on a diet consisting of nothing but peanut butter.
Right, so he's like really, really big and diabetic.
That's okay. No, not diabetic. It's peanut butter. This is not like icing sugar added peanut butter. I mean, come on. This is the good natural stuff.
And I don't think he's going to be called Aquaman anymore. He's probably going to be called Skippy Man.
Okay, if you were to organize your own Comic-Con, what would it be like?
Oh, it would be all about podcasting, costuming, and just geekery.
Yeah, we had talked about this before, making what we called Nor'easterCon, which was going to be like a Northeast gathering of... The big important thing is that it was going to be a mix of the science fiction panels with, the movies and the costumes and all that stuff, and then hard science panels where we would discuss real science, real physics, real math, real medicine, real space stuff, and have the whole thing together just presented by our friends and just drink lots, be merry, and have fun.
And why didn't that work out?
Because we're lazy and we didn't do anything.
And we moved out of the Northeast.
All right, and then we moved to Ontario. So
that kind of explains it.
Yeah, this makes it a bit more challenging.
Running a peanut butter factory takes a lot of our time,
Yeah.
And this is going to be a Game of Thrones question. Who do you think will inherit the Iron Throne?
I'm going to let Tech answer first. I've done a couple panels on this already, so I'd have my answer all primed.
I forget the equation for my answer. But who do I think will inherit the Iron Throne? I believe it will be Jon Snow. And, I don't know how much further to go with that without too many spoilers, but it will be Jon Snow plus someone else and their children.
Oh, okay, yes.
That's very helpful.
What kind of equation is this?
I know.
No,
Absolutely.
this is my whole thing. It's the idea of this old system of the king of the 7 kingdoms is going to be dismantled. They're going to tear down the system. It's going to be a new thing because really squabbling amongst themselves isn't working. There's a bigger threat at hand.
Yeah.
Anarchy in Westeros and new democracy or some sort of government other than monarchy is coming, and the Iron Throne will be dismantled and maybe melted by dragonfire.
I hope so too, because I'm getting tired of seeing, the families like just bickering for like the last 5 seasons. I mean, well, at least 4 seasons. Season 1 was, I still think, the best for me because at least the story moved along. Yeah.
And it matched a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
The Red Keep is going to be the next Harrenhal. That is what I want to happen.
Yeah.
Looks like Nati and Tech have made it through our rapid fire unscared. Congratulations! Oh, my wrists are finally free. Oh my goodness, all this peanut butter and this like 1 zillion knots. It takes forever.
So are mine. I know all those Bourne movie marathons will come in handy one day.
Ready to roll?
Hell
What's this?
yeah!
Hey, Ted! Want to check out my hoverboard? I made it on my own, and I think it goes well with your cosplay.
Why would I need a hoverboard? I mean, look at that thing. It's not steampunk. It's not even steam powered.
Hey, but it looks cool, Tech. Don't you want to check out its mechanics?
Is this madness? Like, is this what madness feels like?
Now, what's this?
Madness! This is Persis! Ouch! Ouch!
Very, very funny, Tomboy.
Wait, aren't you supposed to stun them? What's this?
By whacking them in the head. This is a cheap replica I bought from eBay, not the actual one with the magic powers.
Oh, well, good thing I bought the right bomb this time.
You'll pay for this.
Where are you, Persis? I'm standing on top of the hoverboard right now.
Wait for me! Ouch! I'm hit by the peanut bullets! Ouch! Ouch! Ouch!
Get him, Nutty!
I can't stop this! Jump out and grab the edge now, before he goes away! Ah! Got it! Ah! Don't ever let go! Hang in there, because you're going to blast through the ceiling!
We there yet? My hands hurt!
Stop whinging!
Easy for you to say because I am the one clinging onto the hoverboard for dear life!
And I'm the quick-thinking one who saved us both!
Wait, why is the hoverboard losing momentum?
I think we are too heavy for it.
Well, that's the end of another explosive and geeky episode of Tomboy T-Rod. I never actually got to meet the other Grand Wizards. Oh, annoying. What a waste of my expensive convention pass. But anyway, thanks for listening, folks. If you enjoyed this episode of us whining again on Tomboy T-Rod, don't forget to subscribe to the show on iTunes and Stitcher, and of course, give us feedback. We've also got a great website with everything you want to read about being a tomboy in today's world. Check it out at www.tomboy-tarts.com.
And if you just want to connect with us outside of the show, we are also on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Tumblr. Just type Tomboy Tarts.
That's right, and if you have any inquiries about advertising, collaborating, or appearing on this podcast or our blog, please don't hesitate to drop us an email at tomboy.tarts@gmail.com. We are everywhere! Andre! Until the next 2 weeks, Ciao and adios, amigos.